Hello, cousin. Today I bring you my Tres Leches recipe, and if you've been with me since 2020, then you know the mayhem this caused every week when it's sold out over Big Mama Saturdays. I'm breaking up this recipe into 3 easy parts so it's easy to follow. First, we're gonna start with the cake batter. We want to use room temperature eggs and butter, but if you're in a rush, you're gonna place half a stick of butter in the microwave for 30 seconds, and you're gonna place the eggs in hot water for 5 minutes and set it aside. We're going to be using 2 bowls, one for the egg whites, one for the egg yolks, and the batter. We're going to be separating the egg yolks from the egg whites and placing them in a bowl. Repeat this multiple times until all 5 eggs are separated. Set the egg whites aside, and now we're gonna work on the cake batter. Using a hand mixer, we're going to mix in the softened butter to the eggs and mix until it becomes a creamy light yellow color. Once we've achieved that, I'm going to work on the cake batter. I'm adding in 2 cups of all-purpose flour, followed by a dash of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 cups of sugar, half a cup of regular milk, and 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Then, using my hand mixer, I'm going to combine this until it becomes a nice and thick cake batter, just like this. I'm going to set that aside and preheat my oven to 350 degrees, and then I'm going to work on my egg whites. Starting on a low speed, I'm going to mix this. This is going to take anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes until it becomes a thick, fluffy mix, and I'm going to add this into the cake batter, and I'm going to fold it in gently, just like this. Then I'm going to spray my standard 9x13 pan with nonstick spray. I use this Pam baking spray. I have this in my Amazon shop, and then I'm going to pour the batter right on into my pan. And this is going to go into our preheated oven at 350 degrees for 26 minutes. Set a timer. At the end of those 26 minutes, look at our beautiful cake. I'm going to set the cake aside to cool for 30 minutes, and in the meantime, I'll continue working. I'm going to be placing the bowl and the hand mixer beaters into the freezer for 30 minutes to make sure that it's super cold when it's time to make the whipped cream, and I'm going to be placing the heavy cream in the freezer for 15 minutes. While that's in the freezer, on to part 2 and the easiest part, the actual Tres Leches. I'm going to be adding in 1 can of sweetened condensed milk to a bowl, followed by a can of evaporated milk and 1 cup of heavy cream, not to be confused with the one we have in the freezer. This is completely separate, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla. We're going to give this a really good mix until you no longer feel the kickback from the condensed milk and everything has been well combined. Now, we're going to poke holes all over our cake using a fork. Don't be shy, poke everything and poke everywhere. Then you're gonna pour half of the Tres Leches mix into the cake and let this sit for about 5 minutes until the cake absorbs most of the milk, and then you're gonna pour the rest right on over it. Once that has been absorbed, we're going to work on the whipped cream, part 3. Bring your cold bowl, your heavy cream, and your beaters out of the freezer and pour 2 cups of heavy cream into the cold bowl. Then we're going to add in 4 to 6 tablespoons of powdered sugar. You can also use regular sugar, but I prefer to use powdered sugar, and 1 tablespoon of clear vanilla. Attach your cold beaters to the mixer and start on a low speed to combine all of the ingredients. Then gradually build up the speed to a high speed. This is going to take anywhere between 4 to 8 minutes for you to get the perfect whipped cream. Once you start seeing that the ribbons are forming, you see these right here? These are the whipped cream ribbons. Once these form and they're staying intact, not falling apart, your whipped cream is done. For visual reference, it should look like stiff shaving cream. Then you're just going to pour the whipped cream right on over the cake and spread it all over it. This is when you can get creative. I like to keep it classic by spreading the whipped cream all over it in a nice classic way, and I clean up the sides using a wet napkin. And it's not a Big Mama Tres Leches if there's not caramel drizzled on top. In 2020, between July and December, I sold 290 trays of Tres Leches. Those are full trays of Tres Leches, so I know a thing or two. Cousin, this is going to keep in the fridge for up to 3 days. Enjoy your Tres Leches.